All right. Good morning. Good morning. All right. What's the plan? I mean, this looks good for continuation so far. Mm, that already invalidated. Once it goes through the orange line, that signal is not valid. For the reversion, you want to see a push below the box and hold. So you should get another one that pops up if we can get below, and then we can play that down back to VWAP. But until then, you should think of that as a supportive look, and then we'll try to bid and push off of that. But we'll see. Let's look for this bid here at 300. So far holding. Signals continue to pop here. Sell side is definitely trying, but the bid is here. It's holding where it needs to. See if we can flag it. I think if we can get below 295, 300 and then re-offer it, that's your sell. But you should be looking at this area as where the buyer is going to attempt to try. We definitely need to get below this, and then we can play the offer. It's very hard to just want to short our value edge when we're holding the high. Just look for it to be a supportive bid here. But if it can't, right, then we can play it as a re-offer and then play the rotation back down. It's a much better trade. Watch for the re-offer. Need to see a strong seller at 300 on this retest for a continuation down. If we don't get it, then it's not worth it. Russell's still flat. What you said worked, or thank you. I just had to spam it. $300 hold, offer, push down. This is our push into our 30-second opening range high as well as VWAP. It's a great first risk off if you're playing off of 300. Much better to short playing the re-offer. I'd like to see a push down to 75 here after your first risk off here at 86.
Some stimulus.
There's your second PT. So we push down. Bid is sitting at 75s. This is our ORM, opening range mid. Our next target is 65s for the full 30-second opening range retrace and push into our value low. Does that make more sense for what I'm talking about? This reoffer here, does that make sense? Where we play off of the reversion zone on retest and our 30-second our value edge. Sparrow. Okay, I just want to make sure you see it. I have one runner left. I'm considering closing. We want to see like a pretty clear rejection of 290, 285 now, or I think we can fully retrace up. This is target, right? This is POC. So we've just traded from our value high edge on look back in down to our daily POC. This makes sense for this to be supportive. We would want to now see something like this occur, right? If we were going to continue downward, where this edge now holds as resistance, we failed to look above and hold. And then we can get one more leg down. I'm unsure if that's going to happen with how tight the market is. Gonna have to just wait and see. I'm not incredibly bearish on this area for continuation until we get below this, come down into this, reject it, and then continue downward like so. Then we can look for a continuation. It would look something like this, in my opinion. Where this edge then becomes resistance, and then we get our confirmation when reversion becomes resistance, just like it did here at our reversion high at 300, right? This will become a resistance. We're looking for that for a continuation move at our lows. But so far good. 300s hold, or sorry, 290 holding as resistance, right? Our 30-second opening range high, that's here.
Macklem says the job is never done. I see elevated uncertainty.
But we need to see what happens into our low. I don't look for continuation until we see a push below and then a hold of that edge as resistance. This is just where we expect the buyer to be trying to absorb, right? Down here into this yellow zone. Why do we believe that? Well, it's our 30-second opening range low as well as our value low on our daily, right? So this makes a lot of sense for buyer side to be trying down here. But until we get below and then start to hold it as resistance, there's not much, right? It's also our 15-minute view up on footprint. This is ES as well into our edge. So this is leading a bit. Do you see how we looked below and now we're trying to hold our value edge? So if this can hold as resistance and we can get back below 38s, to me that's pretty bearish. If we can then resist here and then see a lower high get put in here, that's what we're watching for. A look below and then hold from this point here.
And Bank of Canada's
That's
senior
that
deputy governor
that will
Rogers
be like,
says
oh,
the
okay, there's a
Canadian dollar
seller
is
that's
still
willing to
playing
then
its shock
reject
absorber
this
role.
to a lower high. But let's say like instead we see the bid hold this on retest and then we push up, right? Like that's the opposite. Right? If this edge holds as supportive, we push
Rogers
into
adds
it
the
and then
Canadian
we
dollar
go
is behaving
up,
the way it usually
and we look for
does
something
and
like
how it is
this.
meant to.
I hope that makes sense. Just watching to see if the offer shifts down or not. So far, it looks pretty weak. This is our third target here on NQ into our 30-second opening range low. We'll look for our push down into 254 and then a slight relief bounce into 265 and then offer if this is going to go any lower. We'll look for the flip, right, where this will come resistance. If we can't do that, then we just expect that any excess down here is going to be absorbed, and then we'll look for the rotation back in, and then we can play this back up. We should see a little bit of relief here. If they don't, that's just like a volatility thing. It is what it is. We'll see. I'm in my one runner still. Moving stop to 75.
Bank of Canada's Governor Macklem says consumption is underpinning economic growth.
Again, reoffers should be expected, so don't feel like you're missing out here. This is why we've talked about this in advance. Watch your reoffer here into 38 to 40 on ES, as well as our 65 to 77, 75, whatever you want to call it, just POC. We're now watching to see if this area holds on retest, right? That's the entire point. Or if this is going to be our excess at our lows, and then we come back up off of it. The only time I'm looking for sell side to matter is if we can hold this as our pivot and look back below, right? We want to look into this, and then we want to see a lower offer and then step down. Or again, this will be our reversion, right? This is our reversion zone. It is incredibly important that we see
Bank of Canada's Governor
secondary
says we
sell
expect the
for
pace of consumption
continuation,
growth to moderate.
right? Just like we did at the top. So this is our precursor to let us know if a seller's here, and then this is where we look to actually enter, in my opinion. You don't want to get caught in this absorption. So just watch to see what price does here. I got stopped there on the pop back up, and I'm looking to see if this is a bid here at 65s. Just like we talked about. Right, because this is a recovery of our value. Nice, good job. Same thing on ES. We're looking to see if 38 holds a supportive. We're looking to see if 265 on NQ holds a supportive, 30-second opening range lows, recovery, or if this is going to fail. And then we look back below, trapping these traders here, and then playing off it as our risk. If what I'm saying doesn't make sense, we're watching to see if this now holds on recovery, right? For a rotation up like so. But if we push back below, then we'd be using this high as our resistance, and then we'd be looking to play it down on retest like so. Just depends on what happens here. Same thing on the ES. You can have like a pretty tight stop into here, and you're looking to see if we can play this up, or if this is going to go offer. With a secondary look here.
Macklem says a material change to our outlook would not just be 1 month of data. I don't have a ton of faith in sell side down here, I'm not gonna lie, but we'll see. Yes, holding well still. Russell pushing highs. NQ just taking advantage of the just like slow grinding down. If 55s go offer and we can actually hold this, then I'll care. If not, I think this is just where we absorb into 55, 65 and then look back up. I don't know. We have 50 seconds until new 15s. Again, I am only bearish once we start to hold below 55 on offer. Until then, I think that this is where we absorb into this, and then we look for bids over 65, and then that leads to an upside move. Like, I just don't have faith until we push below this. Personally, I'm just gonna moving things over because it's still makes sense to me. But you'll know if offer is serious if 65 holds, and then we hold below 55s, in my opinion. I'm gonna play the secondary regardless. I'm not too picky here. Because again, like, my worry is that our reversion holds and that this is just a little bit of volatility, and then this comes up off of it if we're holding 55, and then none of that matters in between. So I want to see sell side at 65s hold and then reject us and push us below 55s for the sweeper. And again, like, the reason why I'm saying that is because Russell is pushing and ES is flat at our pivot. See what happens on open to 15, but like, there's no upside move until ES can get over our value of previous candle at 40.
The dollar paired gains
We're
now
just waiting.
flat on the session here, according to the Dixie.
You can either be trying off of this 55.65 as supportive for the absorption for rotations up to 290 as your first target, or you can just be waiting. It's up to you. But I don't think that there's a short here yet. That's all I'm really getting at. If you wanted to try a pretty tight short at this 73 to 78, you could try that, right? So you'd be risking 7 points, stop at 80, and you'd be looking for the offer into this. But I think it's more of a absorb and then go up kind of situation than a go down situation. So like, if you were long off of 55.65, this is your first risk off for 10 points into 77, our ORM. But I think we can probably see 90 here. I'm sorry if I'm confusing you guys. I'm really trying not to.
Bank of Canada's Senior Deputy Governor Rogers confirms that the bank is resuming treasury bill purchases in the fourth quarter.
I'm out 2 from 60 here into 75. I have
And
one
Bank
left.
of Canada's Governor Macklem says equity valuations by many metrics look stretched.
So what we just did there was hold our ORM at our take profit, right? So this is why we took profit on our first contracts there. and we've left a runner just in case we're going to hold that 55. But if we can't, right, we'll look for the offer to look below, and then we'll look for the short off of a failure. What we just did was reject our POC to value high of our previous candle, which is here, right? Which is where we are looking for our risk off and our short to be, if it was going to be anywhere. That's your first sign of weakness. What you want to then see is follow through, where the offer then lowers. So we look for a bid here at our 54. That's your first risk off if you're short off of this area, right? This is chop in between, right? So this is your edge. This is your first risk off for shorts. And then we look for a secondary seller here into our 65 edge for a lower high. If we can push below 55 without having to retest this, then we'll look for this to then reoffer and then push down. But we should get a little bit of a bid here. Again, this is just because I am seeing absorption into these lows and I'm unsure in this area. I think this is very choppy. So we know that this is our edge high. We've identified it. This blue area, right? POC to value high of previous candle. But we know that we need to show interest below this 54.55 area for anything real to continue. This needs to be where the seller is, right? Does it visually help if I like put a line on like this that you can see the downtrend if that was going to hold, or this is just the bid? Like, this is why I want that look below so badly, because I know that I could get caught in chop here in the middle of our range between our 54, 55, like in this. This is where we're chopping right now. We want to see this lower high be put in, right? Like what we're trying to do here. And then we want to see the look below where this bid has been resting. And then we play that reoffer to the downside. That allows us to be like, oh, okay, yeah, like sell side is actually showing it's moving the offer down and we're stepping down, instead of just like, oh, this is where the bid is absorbing and we're going to continue to do that over and over again. So like your risk can either be into these highs or into the low hold, right? Like that's your two areas where you can potentially short. Top edge, right? Or lower edge holding, and then the value shifting. Until then, right, it's just like chop in between. Russell, huge push.
Bank of Canada's Governor Macklem says we could get 2 negative quarters, but that's not our forecast.
So very clear lower high has been put in, following what we've been talking about,
And
but
the
we
press
still
conference
need the
with
dip
Bank of
below.
Canada's Governor Macklem has now ended.
We need this bid to shift, right? This is what we're doing right now. We need to see this step below now for that continuation, or this is going to be meaningless. Trying to like clean this up, but still keep the idea. So I'm out 1 here, and then I will look to average down if this 55 can hold. Should look for our reoffer here into 55. It's going to hold. If we don't see our offer sit into this 55, we rotate back up to 65. So we really need to see this lower high for continuation. This has to be pretty absorbent here, or I am stopped. $50 seconds till new 15s. I just got stopped on my runner at 60. I'll wait for new 15s before I decide. If we look back below this 45-55 area, then I'll look to potentially play it again, but there's just not enough here.
They're 20 seconds, 2015s. New 15 is opened. They've tried to sweep our pivot, holding our low so far, but holding POC of previous candle. If we can get this look below, we're trying this again off of 55. They gotta slap this thing down here. Or again, like it's just not gonna be worth. Like all momentum has died. Just makes me think that this is just absorbs and then we go up. I'm flat. Just waiting. I got stopped on reoffer there again.
If there's no interest below here, like there's no short. That's really what I'm trying to get at. And we can see that this is our value edge at our low. Like this needs to be resistance, or we just rotate up. I missed this rotation because I didn't enter on my stop at 55. That's fine with me though. I'll play the rotation and pop over 72.80 and then hold if we do it. Or this will just be another rotation of our same pivots. I really do believe that like the auction is this right now. Between these two yellow. So we're going to need to see either this happen where we hold our highs off of our hold of our low on reentry, or a failure here and then a rotation down. I'm really only interested in a short off of this. I need that follow through because once we get it, it'll like really sweep through. But without it, I just don't see the logic. Right, because every time we recover this is just going to be a rotation back up. We expect sellers to be here into 72 to 80 to try to absorb into our top edge. But again, if we flip this, then I think we look up, not down. And then we just look for this edge to hold as supportive. We should expect sell side to be here though. This is our daily POC, this is our top edge, etc., etc. This is VWAP. So we expect sell side to be sitting here. But do they have the juice to keep us here is the question, right? To rotate us back down and then offer us through. Or do we bid above, hold this, and then look up? I don't have that answer for you yet. But this is what we're waiting for. Again, still just trying to absorb here. You either can try to short the 72 to 80 area for rotations back down to 55, holding our balance, or we're looking for the pop above and hold for continuation. Just no real in between here. It's just our top edge. Just balance. This is your first risk off if you're playing off that top edge. Again, this is a inside candle. So this is why we are saying what we're saying, is that this is where the short is from here. This is where we need to push below and hold for continuation down. And you are balanced in between these two areas. Until we can flip above and hold, or flip below and hold, I'm not looking for continuation here. Twenty seconds, 2015s, full rotation on NQ. All right, let's see if sell side fails again. So far holding on reoffer. When I do pivots like this, where we have two zones, so we have this lower zone, then we have this higher zone. What we're looking for is for our sell side to be here and push down off of that, right? From a look below, from a look above, right? So this is a starting place, look below, sorry, look above, a look below our pivot, and then a hold of said pivot as resistance. If we look below, we then fail to do anything, we fail to sustain here below, you look for the bid to then hold above and then rotate back through. Because this is a failure, and then these guys are trapped. Right? So this is what happened on the last attempt, which is we looked above, we then held after a look below and fail, and then we rotate back up. So this needs to hold here on retest for continuation down. If from this area we can't actually sustain below our pivot, we're going to be watching for them to then hold this for rotations up and then a push higher, right? Like that's the entire premise, is like balance needs to shift, right? Value needs to shift, or we'll continue to just absorb into these lows, and then the sell side is just offsides, and then we rotate back up. So yes, you're going to get stopped out a few times, but your stops will then rotate into these highs, and then we can play this down and then play this like this. This is first PT. And then when we come down, we can then play this back up if we get stopped out, and then we can play this into here from this hold here, right? That allows for our stop to be pretty tight, but the risk to reward is like 2-to-1 for your stops on either side, on either edge. So yes, you can take a stop here for like 9.5 points, right? But the reward then is for double that, right? So it's a 2-to-1, almost 3-to-1 on these trades on the failures, right? Because we have an entire range that's 30 points. What we're looking for is for sell side to be here at this edge and be here at this, and buy side to be here at this edge on a look above. For continuation down, we know that these edges need to hold as resistance for that continuation. But if it fails, right, then we know that this is just going to rotate back up, giving you 20 to 30 points. That's the whole premise, the whole understanding is like either balance persists and we rotate back through it, or we hold our edge, which allows us then to get a much nicer trade to the downside. Right, so it's the same thing as before, is that you always have two opportunities to get into these trades at our edge high or on our reoffer. So this is first PT. Same thing for ES, first PT. Yeah, I got them yesterday. Wearing them right now. We just hit full target here on NQ for first downside leg off of our flip of our 45.55. Just following our pathing, right? So this is for ES as well. This is first target. We have to just build this area out. Not sure what happens here after this. This was just a fib target, so we'll see what happens. This is the flip of our lows. Same thing on ES. Nothing has changed there. Need to get below this 33 for more, or it just doesn't make sense looking for more. Any good? Yeah. They're just a better version of what I already had. What were the $500 ones?
I got these, Surf. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I got the Pro, the MK2s. I don't know, I really like this brand. The build quality is just so nice. Everything is metal. Like you're definitely paying a bit for the build quality with these. Yeah, they are super comfy. I haven't really been blasting anything. I honestly haven't been home very much lately, so I haven't really given them their fair chat test. But yeah, they sound great. I don't know. I've been a Bayer enjoyer for a very long time. Before that, I was just like Sennheiser, but these have like the 990s and the 1990s, and then have both been really good to me. Oh, they last forever. Yeah, so you're very similar to me. Yeah, like everything about these is like metal or like very thick plastic. I don't know if there's anything that isn't metal. I can't. Sometimes like you can't really tell the difference between the two because of how high qual the actual plastic is. But like you can buy new covers, new wires for everything. Everything is like pretty easy to assemble. If you need repairs, I don't know. They're nice. I think that you actually the build quality is what you're paying for more than the sound itself. I think the sound is good, but there are headphones that are much better at the same price point that have worse build quality but better speakers. But I don't mind. Yeah. It's cool, like I don't know. If I didn't move literally every year and I didn't use them so much, I would probably go with a different brand. But because I do, having like a pretty high build quality makes a lot of sense. Just because of how, I mean, I use them every day. There's a lot of wear and tear that can be put on the band. Another risk off here into 30s, no change, just this 55, 47, 45, whatever you want to call it. Is our pivot. As long as it's maintaining, just rotations down. I hope I was clear in my explanations. Other than that, I don't really know what to do. It's just like balance. Slow grind down, balance until we find where we're going to absorb, and then I think we pop into FOMC, would be my guess. Where these guys are just like taking in size beforehand. That's my guess, but it's a literal guess.
I have not. Was there a lot of new content in it? Or was it like a recap movie? I'm never sure. Mostly recap? Okay. I mean, it's probably still worth watching. It's been a while. Yeah. Is it probably like 40 minutes of new content? Like one episode? Or is it not even like 20 minutes? Oh, mostly new content is what you meant to say? Got it. Yeah, I'll check it out for sure. I am still short one. Stop 56. Offer 45. But there's a good chance that I get stopped out and then we rotate up and then I automatically get filled over 56 for a rotation into 75. Just playing the previous range. I'm gonna take a break in a minute here. My food is gonna be here. Just gotta go downstairs and get it. Yeah, 25 makes sense. That's my PT as well. See what happens with Russell as we push back down into this 29.31 area. This was our pivot from yesterday. I don't really have a great target on NQ. Because this is just like all Globex garbage. Let me see what we can do here. Okay, that's probably good. This 210 bid is kind of random. I mean, there's very clearly someone there, but I don't know why. Oh, this guy's like almost here. All right, I gotta start to head down. Let me just put my charts on auto. All right, I'll be right back.
Honda says production cuts due to a chip shortage in North American plants.
All right, our 210 held. Unlucky. Can't believe that liquidity was enough to stop us there. If we flip this, then I'll just go bid again. So very important to see if we can flip this pivot again or if offer is able to maintain here. I doubt that it's able to maintain with the look below. But we'll see. I'm just moving this over. Just back to balance, right? So. And this is with Russell holding our lows, which is what we were I don't want to say looking forward to, but it's what we were predicting. It's kind of the worst. Just kind of chop in sideways, higher I don't know, in our higher balance. Let's see if this can flip here. 255 test now. $55 holding so far. Retesting our low. I'm gonna actually move this down to this value edge here. This is our little void in between the two balances, our lower and upper. See what they can do. This is so funny. Still no ability to push over 55s, but a good hold of our 45 edge so far. Just need to be a little bit more patient. See if we can get this lift over. We're holding where we need to, but we need to see the ability to actually build above this. RTY leading up, NQ just holding our pivot so far, but showing a little weakness. Bid is at 45. Yes, flat at our ORM. There's really not much to talk about here. It's just two-sided. So far fouling. No look above 55 and hold equals no long. But there isn't really a great short opportunity either. Just have to watch to see how we build here. And you can try the 45-55 short, but I'm not. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I would like to see more. A bit too slow for me personally. But you can probably play that down to 30 if you want 15 points. I'm just gonna wait. Way too slow. All I'm looking for is a look below and then a sustained bid over 55s for longs. That's literally all I'm watching for. If we get a very clear rejection lower, we can play that, I guess, but I think you'll have a better retest anyways from here, and then we look into this, and then we reject down. So I'd rather play this retest, and then lower high here, and then the continuation, right, for the short, personally, than just trying to, like, short this level. Again, like, all I'm watching for is either the look above, and then the bid that actually happens over 55s, or we come down and then we put in a lower high here, trapping these traders offsides. Well, where's weekly POC? Oh, at 6276. No, definitely not too far away, especially on FOMC. You're just probably gonna have to wait for that level until the decision. That'd be my guess. I don't know. My opinion so far is that this is just accumulation before the right decision, and then we'll probably continue going up. Like, you kind of have to have that mentality until proven otherwise, because we've been gapping up every day, right? So like, there's very clearly someone buying, but if that doesn't happen, right, we have like zero structure then on the way down, and it'll be fun to play. But yeah, that's a good target above for sure. This guy at 55's got to leave. I don't think that any of those levels are going to matter come FOMC. But we'll see. There's Sparrow. Yeah, let's see if we can do it. That was a good bid so far. As we push into 70, I'm going to take off a little. Just because I'm in from 50. And try to leave runners, but we'll see. Just a balance for rotation.
I can show you. I'm trying to move my average up now. We'll see. I mean, I don't really see anything on footprint here. Just kind of a lack of a bid, more so than anything. We'll see. I don't think really anything has changed. But I don't know. If it continues to be like this, I'm just going to leave. Again, like I don't really see anything other than someone getting absorbed here so far into our lows. So I'm still in my position. I'm not seeing anything yet to tell me otherwise, but
If we reject here at 55 pretty strongly, that could be a good first sign. But again, I'm not looking for a short until we look down first and then offer into it. I just think someone's trying to take in here into this low, trying to trap people. So nothing is really different for me, right? This is just our value from the previous balance that we traded. We're holding the highs and retesting. So to me, there's really not a ton here to do, right? Like we can just do it like this if you want, if that's easier to see. It's just holding POC to value of our previous range. So as long as that's maintaining and then we look over 55s and then bid, I expect more upside. If we fail, right, and we push back below to the low of this balance, and then offer into the highs and then rotate down, then I'll play short. But until then, like I'm not shorting value high. That's dumb. I ordered groceries, Cass. Yeah, always. Almost always. I really don't order like takeout all that often, unless there's like an insane deal online. My issue is that I usually make food that I'm much happier with than if I order food. Like I'm almost always disappointed. Like, oh, I could have made that better. So it has to be something like I can't make myself for me to be happy. Or it just feels like I'm overpaying for nonsense. No. But I mean, I order my groceries online. I get them delivered. The only time I order out is if like Uber Eats has like a 50% off deal or something. Other than that, it doesn't feel worth. Yeah, the Chinese is good. It sucks there's not a lot of food around you. I'm like really centralized, so I've got like Chinatown, maybe like I don't know, 5 minutes away from me, and then like Little Italy is probably like 15 minutes away from me. So there's a lot of really good food around here. I'm a bit further away than like the Middle Eastern and Hispanic areas than I'd like to be, but they still deliver. But it's like right at the edge. We have a lot of Asian food in China, in Cleveland. And because it's the student population here at CSU at Cleveland State, it's like pretty high on the Indian sides. There's like a lot of really good Indian food that's open late for students around here. I've never really seen that before. Like Indian places that are open till like 2 or 3 in the morning. Yeah,
definitely. But that's usually where all the students hang out at night. No, I mean, Indian food's great. But like, it's not even just like Indian. Like, we have like Nepalese as well, so you can get like momos and stuff like that. Just like the superior soup dumpling. I just risked off a bunch into our previous high. My average that was up there at 64, just risked off that for break even. I mean, I get a little bit more than break even, but now I'm just in runners again from my double dip down into the lows. This Russell divergence is a little concerning. We'd like to see a double bottom here for a full rotation up and give legs for NQ. If RTY can bottom here and then NQ can hold these highs, then we're in a very good position for continuation. But if Russell starts to lead down, I'm not a huge fan of that as a divergence for NQ upside. Yeah, he always speaks 30 minutes after. I won't be here for either of that. I'm gone. You've got FOMC rate decision at 2, and then 2:30 you have JPOW speaking, and then at close you have Microsoft earnings, Meta earnings, Google earnings, Starbucks earnings, eBay earnings. Mm-hmm. With how slow we're moving, I have to like keep changing these levels because we take an hour to develop them. Feels bad, man. Just have to keep like adjusting them as these ranges build out for 40 minutes. I might just leave now. Honestly, I can't. I mean, there's no point in sitting here this week. We've got all these earnings, we've got FOMC and all this stuff. Like, just let it go by, and so the market can get back to normal. Getting chopped up, waiting for moves, and taking like 15-point trades over a course of an hour just feels so bad. It just feels so bad. Like, why am I sitting in this trade and I'm like 15 points up and it's been an hour? Like, what's the point? What is the point? Yeah, like it's not even a great FOMC pre-balance. Like usually it feels pretty good pre-FOMC. I don't think that this one felt very good. Like, where are the areas of interest pretty obvious? Yes, but like the rotations are pretty awful in those areas. Usually it's pretty decent before. Pretty disappointing. Like, we're not doing anything that we didn't expect, but it's also just not very fun to be here for, even though we're profitable. It's kind of miserable. Offer sitting at 65.
What's up, Kevin? I continue to risk off into 65. Have runners for continuation, but just like pretty boring market. Nothing really to do here. Yeah, I feel you. It's very hard to like want to keep runners when we range for 40 minutes for 15 points. Yeah, I mean, covering a VWAP is ideal. All right, I'm out of here. Like, what are we doing? Goodbye, friends. Good luck if you're trading FOMC. I am not. I just want this week to be over. Hopefully, we get some expansion potential after FOMC and these earnings. Remember, we have so many earnings tonight that are huge. We have Microsoft, Meta, Apple, Starbucks, eBay, Google. Right? Like, there's so. I don't think my charts are going to matter for after FOMC, but yeah, I can link them. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just am not interested. I'm sorry. I wish I was, but I'm not. You guys have a good one. I will talk to you tomorrow. Hopefully the market opens up a bit tomorrow. Have a good night.